Hi guys, I'm Prateek Kumar and I'm the host of the FitCru Show. I'm also the founder of FitCru. And before I start introducing the next guest, I would like to request you all to do one thing. Please subscribe to our channel on whatever platform you're going to hear this, or whether it's Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, wherever we're present. Please do hit the follow, subscribe button, because you guys subscribing to our channel helps us grow our show, grow our community better, and we are able to get better personalities, better people, and have more engaging conversations with them. This would help our listeners understand their struggles, their journeys, and get a clear insight in their lives too. So if you guys were to join us, there's literally nothing else that I could ask you all to do, because when we come together, we'll be able to get better people into our community. So please hit the bell icon or the subscribe button or the follow button, whatever platform you all are consuming this piece of content on. Please do join our community. I would like to welcome you all, and I would like to move on to our guest now.
Bollywood has always been about
Colors and songs.
Yeah, the meaning of Bollywood is slowly changing. It is a tough field, there's no doubt about it. But what I think is amazing, which I've seen more now than ever in the last, I would say, maybe 2 years. We used to be a glamour-oriented industry.
Yeah.
Now, I think we can proudly say that we're a talent-oriented industry, which is a very big deal for India at the moment. And I think it's changed. And I think it's here to stay. The thing about acting is also that sometimes just knowing that a camera is recording makes people act differently. Someone's even cutting their birthday cake. The minute a camera comes up, the way that people do things will change. When the camera comes on, there's something very innately human about shifting a bit, changing a bit, less being and more pretense. ये हम लोग सब करते हैं.
What's up? Welcome guys. I am your host Prateek Kumar. Welcome to the FitCru Show, India's favorite wellness podcast, or at least I hope it turns out to be one of those. So today I have somebody who's facing the camera, but she's actually used to not facing the camera. She's on the other end of the camera. She's not a director, but she's a casting director. She's worked on multiple advertisements, but at the same time she's worked on blockbuster movies like Brahmastra, Kapoor and Sons, Gehraiyya, Brothers, hit shows like Masaba Masaba. She is literally next level, and she is kind of irritating. She's younger to me, but she's killing it at her profession. Like, she is a powerhouse. She's had her own fair bit of struggles, and we want to understand those struggles with her. We want to understand how she's been able to cope up with it and what is next on her plate. So without further ado, welcome Panchami. So what's up, Panchami? And thank you so much for being a part of this.
Most welcome.
First of all, like, for our listeners, for our viewers, can you tell everybody, it's not like they don't know, but whoever doesn't know, can you tell them what is it that you're doing?
Yeah.
What is your main go-to thing, and why do you do it?
So I predominantly work as a freelance casting director. It's what I've been doing for a very long time. I think it's going to be our 10th or 11th year soon. So it's been pretty much, I think I was one of those lucky people that, like, you know, I very much at the start of my career, I picked something, and then it's really helped me in my career to have, I sort of stuck by it, which I think in your early 20s can be like a
very flaky time.
Yeah, it's a flaky time. You know, you tend to change your mind on what you're doing and, you know, switch careers, and it's considered also quite normal in your 20s to sort of do different things and figure out what is it that you want to do eventually. But I think I just kind of stumbled into casting. It was the first job I was put in, like, onto. I was working as an assistant director on Wake Up Sid, and I was just put on to casting, and that was my first job ever. And today I'm 33 and I'm still casting. So I think the fact that I got a kickstart into something that I actually enjoyed, and today I'm doing that. Of course, today I'm doing more than casting as well.
We'll speak about that.
Yeah, but casting's definitely been my grounding.
Okay, and how, like, overall, how many podcasts? Like, I've seen you on quite a few podcasts.
I love doing podcasts. I feel like it's a great way to connect with the actors, with my audience in general. I have done a few podcasts. I did one with Ranveer, which is on the Ranveer show. I've done one with Film Companion. I enjoy podcasts.
How is it like? So I know that. So I was working with you, so I know that
we know each other. We go back a long way.
Not just that, but so I know that you are brilliant in front of the camera. Like, the first, like, when I was interning with you, and I did an audition also for one role, and you were like, and I did this audition because I was super nervous. I was like, hey, I'm working
Yeah.
And now you've asked me to do this audition, so I'm doing this audition. And after the audition, I have like this nervous feeling that, okay, what is she going to say? And you just look at me and like, it's nice, but it looks like you're acting.
That sounds like something I would say.
And I was like, true. And then obviously, like, while I was auditioning different people and understanding what is acting, what is true acting, I realized that this is fucking difficult. It's not like so easy for anybody to pick up and do.
I think that Pratik happens predominantly because when the camera comes on, there's something very innately human about shifting a bit, changing a bit, less being and more pretense. ये हम लोग सब करते हैं वो you see that even in a perfectly let's say a good moment when someone's even cutting their birthday cake, the minute a camera comes up, the way that people do things will change. Even the person who's cutting their birthday cake will be slightly more precise about the way that they're doing
the
it.
Sliver has to be nice,
it needs to be perfect. The way they pick up the cake needs to be perfect because it's being documented. So I think that's what the thing about acting is also, that sometimes just knowing that a camera is recording makes people act differently. And that's why, let's say in one of the first few auditions that you did, if I may have said that, it may have been that I'm trying to say that you're conscious of the camera being there. And aren't we all? We all are. But I think as actors, or when you reach a point where you feel you'll actually be able to do a good job is when you start being and you stop being conscious about this thing that's recording you, and stop being conscious about how you're looking, stop being conscious about all of that. So then it just becomes a room where you and me are having a conversation, much like we do say in our auditions as well, that it needs to be as normal a conversation as possible, and just be oblivious of the camera. It's not that easy. Obviously, when people start off, that's what they find the hardest. Like they find the camera an intimidating energy in a room.
Yeah.
So we try to kind of remove that. Obviously, practice makes perfect. There's no two questions about it. So the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yeah. No, but I was actually like also kind of surprised is the word. I wouldn't say shocked, but surprised at how professional. Like I was, like it's when you're on the outside and when you're not in the industry and you're always kind of taking things for like yaar ye to matlab they'll be very casual over here, dosti khate mein sab ho jata hoga and all that. It's a fucking professional, serious job. Like I know like how your calendar was set up, how you would come in, you would set up certain days, you would give different responsibilities to different people, and now you have a team of how many, like 12 people. So
now, I mean, to be honest, our team is constantly like the amount of people in the team are constantly changing. The last few months for us were fairly slow, so a few people left, but usually we'd be around 10 because we're constantly hiring. We're hiring teams to come in on work on certain projects. Interns come and go. Obviously, I've been lucky, so a lot of people have really, my core crew has really stuck by me for a long time, but also these are people that want to do casting. They are not all, sometimes I tend to have a lot of assistants who want to actually be actors. It's very normal. I mean, you also sort of came to me with the same, not the same intention, but you wanted to explore.
That's exactly what I called you and I told you that, you know what, I like this is what I want to do, and like I do know a few people here and there, but I don't think I'm competent enough. Like I want to come to you, intern, learn things from you, and if things work out, then great.
Right.
And you're like, yeah, for sure, come tomorrow. Come tomorrow, Times of India building. I was like, what? Like, do I have the job? Like, yeah, tomorrow, Times of India building. They are auditioning for some show. We are auditioning like 12 different girls from some agency, and I was like, okay. And then Shoaib got in touch with me, sent me some Google Docs. Shehzad got in touch with me, sent me some numbers. He's like, this is the lineup for tomorrow. This is the script. By heart this because you are taking the audition. And I was like, okay.
It's hectic. I mean, casting is like, the thing is there's so much hustle because we're doing multiple things at the same time. We're doing multiple projects. Different people are heading different projects. So for me, they might be only responsible for the projects that they are working on. So they don't necessarily, of course, in our office, just because we want us all to be on the same page, we're very happy for, let's say, someone else in our team to also read. Let's say now we're doing Mismatch season 3, and my team is so core that even if someone from the outside of the Mismatch team wants to jump in and read the character sketches and give their inputs, we always allow for different people to do that. But for me, what happens is that I have those 6 different groups one main group, then one mismatch group, then let's say we were doing the crew, there's Murder Mubarak, so there's different, and sub pe, there's a separate sort of, hustle going on every day. Updates are being put up, who we are expecting, lineups are coming up, who's cancelled, any suggestions by the production house or the director are coming in. So that's the constant state of being.
Yeah,
sure. But of course we have slow months and we have, we have more hustle months and less hustle months.
How has it been? Like when we were discussing on the phone also, I wanted to ask you, like, I know the industry has seen a bad, I wouldn't call it a bad time, but a slow time since lockdown. It's been like a bigger lull than high kind of scene.
Yeah, because I think the audience took its time to go back into the cinemas, which is our first most important and big thing. And because of that, there was, I would say we personally felt a sort of slow time, let's say from April to July this year, which is probably one of the most, since the lockdown, it was the most quiet we've been in the office for a while, which is about 4 or 5 months. So genuinely, there were days that I was walking into the office and the team was catching up on content on their laptops. Like that's what we were doing through the day.
Okay.
Thankfully, we didn't have to lose the power of the amount of people that I have, because I'll just be too sad if I have to do that. But we waited it through, and we, now it's kind of picked up, because of course we know that since Rocky Rani came in, we've seen a really good run at the box office, which is so, it reinstates so much of the faith in the industry, and generally everyone sort of needed that push, because Gadar has done well, Dream Girl has done well, Oh My God has done well, Jawan of course has done like insane numbers. So now we're like kind of, the energy is back. Of course also the rainy season is usually a slow season in the industry, because you can't shoot in the city. Mostly people don't shoot in this time, in Bombay at least, because, or even in India, because there's just so much rain that it's unless your script is written for the rainy season. If you're going to have rains, then unless your film is set in the time that it works for, it's difficult to shoot in this time. So there were way far less productions going on floor until now. We're seeing it pick up. We also were affected by the SAGs and strike that was happening internationally. So of course things started to because
how does that strike impact us?
Because your parent companies of Netflix, Amazon are there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So obviously when over there it suffers, then it trickles down to here as well.
Yeah.
So we saw them commissioning fewer projects. Of course now the strikes have kind of found a way to fix itself. So hopefully it will be. But it had been a slow pickup for us. I know that with speaking to other casting directors, they were also feeling it. Other agencies were calling us. This is an interesting thing that I actually also experienced for the first time, where agencies were calling us to say, and we were discussing this on the phone as well, कि actors के साथ क्या होता है अगर आपको audition मिले and that you are not able to crack that audition, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Because actors have been coming in, you're keeping them busy, they are auditioning. So for actors to come and audition and not get a part is fine, but for actors not to get auditions then creates a little bit of a panic within the actors as well, right? They're like, why am I not getting auditions? So there had been a time for months where people were not getting those many calls. Maybe gin chun ke 3, 4, 5 calls, in a few months, which I would say is less, considering the amount of work we were doing post the lockdown. Because when we went guns on, we were guns on. It was back on the industry right after the lockdown, especially OTT. But this time around, we saw a little bit of a slow time even with OTT. And that I think had created a slight amount of panic. Many more actors reaching out to, I could also tell, because many more people reaching out to take meetings, trying to, they're trying to reactivate
But that's so true, Panchami. Like if you don't get a call for an audition, you feel like you're not competent for the job, right? I mean, you feel that you're not even considered.
Yeah.
And you always, like, you will always end up thinking or assuming that projects are happening.
And I'm not getting called.
I am not being called. So,
galti
mere mein hi. And that
I
would be
feel like actors are very quick to judge that, They
Everybody
are like that.
would be. I mean, especially when your work, like, it's so variable and there are so many decision makers
That's true.
at every stage.
Yeah.
And if you're not considered for the first elementary, the first fundamental.
I had to repeat this many times to actors to be like, listen, it's genuinely a slow time in the industry. So it's not like you're not getting that call. Many more people are also not getting that call because इतना कुछ है. मैं अगर बोल रही हूँ कि हम लोग there were days that हम लोग ऑफिस में बैठ के content देख रहे थे, which means that there was genuinely a slow time. And that's why I was doing many more things. Again, we'll come to that at some point, which is more than casting, like what we were talking about, because you realize in times like these more than ever that actually everyone needs to keep the wheels running, right? I have an office space, I have a team, I have salaries to pay. So what happens in a time like this? Yes, we dip into our reserves, but I think it's also important to, I find that this is a personal thing, I also find it important to have, to just find ways of keeping the wheels running. So, whatever that takes to make that happen. And hence, I think I speak about this a lot, but हमारे parents के time में, this generation में ये thinking थी कि one life, one career.
Yeah.
Which is that like blinders on, you pick that one thing and you just keep doing that one thing till you grow older. But I think with our generation, and I'm very much like a flag bearer of this, is that you can do many things with your life. It need not be only one thing. You can excel at all also. There's as far as you're able to kind of do distribute your time correctly, and it requires a little bit of time management, but I think it's possible to achieve more than just one thing in life, than just doing one thing in your whole life, which is your one main career. You can have multiple facets to your personality, and you can excel at all of them. It just requires time management.
What else are you doing now?
Many things. No, so we'll start. This is this year has been quite an exciting phase for me, because
I am really excited about second house. Like, I've been wanting to go there since since the time it opened up, and the minute I saw the post, so I saw it on Bhakti's or someone's Insta, and then I saw you in the post, and I was like, this place looks fab. First of all, like it just looks so nice. I want to be in this place. And then I was like, what's Panchami doing there? And then it seemed like this is like a founder's table. And I was like, okay. And then I messaged you, listen, if you all are opening any other place, I want to invest, whatever, just take some money. I want to be a part, like a fragment owner of something like that, because it looks so fab.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I'm backing up quickly. So the second house is basically a restaurant and bar, resto bar in Goa, which is in a village called Saligaon. It's recently opened its doors. It's only been 2 months. We opened on the 9th of August. Me and my husband have partnered in on it. So not too many people know, because mostly everyone only knows about my, the casting background of my life. But I've actually always grown up in a very food enthusiastic home.
Okay.
It's a typical Punjabi household where there's two kinds of spoilt. One is when you were able to grow up with like materialistic things that were expensive, or you were spoilt with food. And I think that was my home was one of those homes. My mom is like a massive foodie, I would say herself. She cooks some incredible food.
Okay.
And so I grew up just eating my life through. So so actually food is a really big part, like F&B in general is a really big part of my life. I think for most of the work that I do and for all the hard work that I do, it's only food and travel that I'm wholly interested in. That's very much like the foundation of who I am.
Okay.
And not too many people have known this, because it was just a passion for me. But it's only recently I realized that you can turn your passions into a stream of income. Why not? So not only with this and with more other things that I'm doing as well, me and Vish were like, this seemed like a great opportunity for us. Also the boys who run Daily, the whole Daily franchise, which is Daily Bombay, Suki, and now the second house, they are, which is essentially Dishant who runs it. He is so hardworking. There has been so much that I've got to learn from him in the last few months. Totally new facet of leadership and how to run a business, and especially in hospitality, which is a really difficult, cutthroat, sort of industry, and it's
Super
very, very
competitive
hard to
and super
survive.
critical.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's the mix of both
Yeah.
critical and
But
competitive.
that's what I'm saying. It's been so interesting because I've known a different kind of leadership, and this has taught me something else altogether. Also, I feel like I've learned so much about problem solving and like how to solve a problem while keeping calm, not losing your patience. Like I feel like
You're always
patience is just a
patient,
game
yeah. I
of.
never saw you like lose your.
No, I'm impatient. I'm
Yeah?
very impatient.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like in personal life, so I'm very impatient.
Well, that's
Ask
a
me-
Vishnu.
if you ask Vishnu, he'll be like, you are so impatient. I'm like one of those people who will stand at the door and tap my feet like, chalo now, let's go, let's leave. It's been very interesting, and I think, like I said, because food has always been a big part of our lives, and we are such keen eaters ourselves that we thought this was the perfect opportunity. Also, it's kind of worked out in a really wonderful way because we've been able to be a part of putting it together, but we're also not doing the major handling of it. We're still doing it from afar, and Dishant and his team are doing the front footing of it is really done by them.
Every team has one.
We're
captain.
here to support it, and we're here to promote it, and we're here for all of those things, which I think is still a very cushioned sort of version of hospitality. The reality of hospitality is much more difficult, but that's something that we are also learning now.
Yeah.
But we thought that this was literally the best first foot into
Absolutely.
the game. Yeah.
It just. I told you, like I was just so.
And also it's Goa, it's
attracted to it,
beautiful,
yeah.
it's laid back, we love it. My husband has been working out of there, so he loves the landscape there. It's just been, it just felt like, sometimes I feel like with me and Vish, we're so driven by instinct that it was just,
The vibe was right.
Yeah, and actually I feel like we have Dishant to thank because I'm sure that he had the option of going with many other people.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he chose us is what's is amazing.
Yeah. So as an actor, you always feel that the person who's taking an audition might have some kind of a bias towards someone, or maybe want to just cast someone specifically for this, or are looking for someone specifically.
Yeah.
And you might not fit the bill. But when I was working with you, I realized that it's not, you're not just looking for one person, you're looking for the entire cast, and you want to get the best possible options. So you actually collaborate with actors. You try, it's not like, ye line hai, this is what you have to say, can you say it, can you not say it? You try to get them to say it in the way.
Of course, that's my main job.
Exactly. So it's not like, you always like, that's what my thinking was when I was auditioning and all. I was like, okay, the casting director is going to give you lines. They're going to expect you to know your shit. Obviously, you're supposed to know your shit, but they are going to guide you through the process.
Yeah.
They're not just going to be like lines, read. Okay.
नहीं
good,
हम लोग
good,
तो एक एक लाइन चेंज करने को बोलते हैं. I'll be like pitch this line.
Yeah, I know.
Say this is coming out too harsh. We want it to become softer. That is so. And that what is direction? Eventually, what is the director doing on a set? They are
Are
going
you
to.
planning to direct now?
No, God, not at all. Not. I think that I'm. Casting is not going anywhere for me, and I feel like it's only recently. This is again something that I'm very happy to share with you and here, which is that it's only very recently, I would say in the last 3 years, since perhaps a little before the lockdown, let's say in 2019, then we had a 1 year lull. Not lull, but it took time for the industry to come back to, getting work. I think it's only in the last few years that I've really been getting the kind of work that I have always wanted to do. When you start out and you are working with different production houses, you kind of, in the beginning of your casting career, you're not too picky about the kind of work that you're doing. You kind of do whatever comes your way. But today, we're really doing the work that I've always wanted to do. It's like it takes, कैसे बोलते हैं ना कि आप there's a certain formula to audition giving, which is after you start doing it a certain amount of times, the amount that you're cracking starts to become more and more and more because you've consistently done it. For the same for us, I think we were doing a certain kind of work, but the more and more we started to do, it's like the universe started to send out the stuff that we really wanted, but it's a very slow process, much like it is for actors. It's a very slow process of consistency to lead up to the moment where you really enjoy every single project is coming to you because it's meant for you to do. So now we've started to really get that kind of work. So I feel like this is like this creatively, this is the best patch for this is the growth spurt for us, which is that the kind of work that I read and I'm like, of course they've come to us because we want to do this, we would love to do this. And I think next year we're going to have a lot of releases like that I'm very, very, very excited about. Yeah.
But tell me, like, 2 or 3 projects that have happened and that have come out that you were really excited to.
Class, of course, is no-brainer. One of them was my lockdown. It was my t-shirt, like my shirt on top and pajamas downstairs. Down a moment of like 6 months of working on that project. It was completely from home. We were taking all auditions mobile, like basically remotely. So it was also a challenging time for casting because we had to adapt to a lot of new ways of
portrait mode, landscape
auditioning,
mode, lines,
and queuing. Also, like I feel like it was more difficult for actors, honestly, because
no cues.
Yeah, like it was difficult at that time. किसको बुलाओगे? Family member में देंगे तो कैसे cues देंगे? Will you be able to act? Camera को भी set करो, lighting को भी set करो. Kitchen में बोलो कि बर्तन मत फेंके यहाँ वहाँ. You know, there was just so many things to take care of. So I think it was a little bit tougher for actors. But we also, what I love about the human race in general is that we adapt very quickly. You know, the minute you throw a curveball, in no time will the human find a way to adapt to it. So I mean, similarly to that, we also found a way to adapt to casting remotely. But it was, I think, because we'll come to that also. The lockdown was not a very easy time for me personally in terms of mental health. I put all my energies into class. I feel like that was the thing that was keeping me sane. And clearly it did some wonderful things because the cast came together really nicely. And I really enjoyed working with Oshim. He's someone who doesn't clip your wings at all. He really just gives you all, he gives you all the creative freedom in the world to just go mad with, you know, go mad with the casting, literally. He was like, we were looking pan-India for 9 I think, super cool, raw, sexy, young kids that we can give a platform to, which is such a big opportunity in itself. And I've seen how it's changed it for them also. It's like that Friday to Monday. It's like Friday the show release and Monday they became the cool kids of town, you know. So it's been a really large turnaround for them also, and I'm so happy because usme actually all of them, there's nobody that's from any background as such. They have all worked hard and made it on their own, you know. So and then they became like, for a while you were kind of seeing them everywhere. They were like Acme Fashion Week here, there, which was such a big turnaround for them, you know, because they are all of them are from different parts in India. A lot of them from Delhi. Everyone's not from Bombay, obviously. It was a pan-India search that we did for class, but it changed their life, literally, the show. And today they are, you know, somewhere else and getting so many more opportunities. But I think that wait for them was long because the show was a full lockdown show. We started in 2020, April, I started casting for them. And the show came in 2022.
23?
Yeah,
I thought 22 and
So it was a solid 3 years. But 3 years and then it was a few days. That changed the way that people saw them, you know.
It's the same thing, no, that you were saying that you have to go through the entire journey and then get that end 5 minutes or 10 minutes of that. This is your moment. Now it's kind of taking shape.
But it takes so much patience. Think about it from the actor's perspective. It's just it's hard. It's not easy, you know. And you have to if you're there, you're in it for anything other than genuinely loving the craft. You would not give 3 years to something that's upar ka, you know, or it's for the glamour, or for the, you know, what the industry shows you on the external. It has to be something.
Those are like, I think, the true actors. I mean, yes, there are stars and they are fab and all that. So I was working on this one project, Scam. And the actor Gagan, like, not a very big name. In fact, he's done a couple of movies, shorter character roles over there. But he was the lead over here. So Nidhi and Tushar, they called me. They said that, okay, this actor, we need him to gain weight. He's been trying since quite some time, but he's not gaining weight. We want you to work with him and get him to gain some weight. So I got in touch with him. I went and met him. We got him to gain 30-40 kgs in 3-4 months, and that in a healthy way. That's not the challenge. But
how do you do that in a healthy way?
We made him work out. We made him walk. We created that demand.
But he could eat.
So he was a skinny guy. Like,
then it's harder, right?
Exactly. But and then for his metabolism to absorb the food.
But they wanted him to gain muscle?
No.
Oh,
Fat,
wait.
yeah.
Acha, you're talking about
Like Telgi.
Telgi scam. Yeah,
Telgi
of
scam.
course.
So, but when I met him and I spoke to him, he was like, Pratik, like, I just want to get into this entire character. I was like, it's going to take a lot from your life.
Yeah.
Whether it's the gaining of the weight, then the losing of the weight. I'm
Yeah.
going to be with you throughout the journey.
Of
That's not going
course.
to be a challenge. But are you prepped for it? He was like, yeah, I'm prepped for it. Very simple guy. I was like, but are you excited about, this being a lead role and you're putting all of this effort? He's like, no, all that doesn't matter. For me, I have to
The role is the role.
I have to be Telgi. I have to just put on the weight and then lose it. After this role, it's not like people are going to remember me for this role or that role or this. I'll move on to my next project. I might get a character role again. Like, this is how an actor thinks.
Yeah.
And they're dealing with so many ups and downs, and
Of course.
I'm sure must be like,
It's crazy. Also, because it's also it is a tough field. There's no doubt about it. But what I think is amazing, which I've seen more now than ever in the last, I would say maybe 2 years, that we have become. We used to be a glamour-oriented industry, but now I think we can proudly say that we are a talent-oriented industry, which is a very big deal for India at the moment, because Bollywood has always been about
colors and songs and
but
locations.
I think Bollywood is kind of the meaning of Bollywood is slowly changing, and I think it's changed, and I think it's here to stay. I don't think that we're an industry now that's we're not looking at being half baked as actors and just being good looking. We're today, even any new kids that are coming in, you can see that they are all training before they come in. वो concept ही नहीं था पहले. This training, being trained was actually only a concept in the West. Today it's coming to India in a really big way, where everyone is doing some course or the other, and you don't have to go
going
abroad.
to places like remote places, going abroad, doing online. Like, people are going for workshops. They're constantly polishing their skills.
It's also it's a younger generation thing also.
Okay.
I feel the younger generation comes in more prepped than our generation did. So and we can see it now, because you can see that when they are coming and giving auditions, they've already done this a bunch of times. Either they started it with someone else, or they took the time out to prep before coming, which is that they've done at least a 4-5 month program or a 3-month program, or they've taken that time out. Basically, at least they've understood that you need to be trained to call yourself an actor. You can't, the concept of just rolling out of bed and becoming an actor is now gone. But
tell me, like, overall, I'm sure a lot of your time must be getting diluted or consumed by people who are of that thought process. Has it reduced now?
No, now I don't take meetings with people like that.
Achha. But you have a screening process where you identify.
We've become slightly stricter, to be honest, which is that I'll make sure that I'm meeting people that are genuine about being serious about acting, have removed time to take a course, and if it is that they haven't, then I'll have a chat with them on the phone and be like, first you train and then come and meet us, because it's pretty straightforward, to be honest. It's like,
it's good,
it's like how it would be. Why will yes, I can give you advice on who it is that you can go to, but we already have a preset message that we've kept for people that have not. We're like, these are the people we recommend and we really love what they're doing. They're genuinely passionate about teaching, and we'll send it to them, and then once you finish that, then you can come in and meet us. But not before that meeting. It's pointless, right? Like, it's why I'm saying it's pointless is because it's not actually in a two-way thing. It's not doing anything for either of us. Neither can you do something for me and show me what you've got, because you haven't trained yet. And for you also, what am I going to tell you that you don't already know? You need to train if you want to become an actor. That's one of the first few things I'll say. And there's no question of repping an agency or getting an agency behind your back till you've not done anything. Right? So it's actually just using your time smartly. So that's how I do the time management.
So overall, like, now that you have your...
But that said, if there are actors that reach out that have have actively been working, or they've done even a small part of course I'm not able to meet all of them, but whenever I can, I'll remove time to take meetings.
But with your events also now, I think it'll be much easier for you.
Yeah, why not? I mean, why not? Whenever
Yeah.
anyone reaches out to do a meeting, I always am encouraging them to come and say hello. You know, because that, like I said, it's a more informal setting to do it in. Also, it doesn't take out time from our actual casting life where we
Yeah.
should be casting, you know.
Because that is anyways happening, and you're
That
sending
is
talent
anyways-
over there.
Yeah, yeah.
But overall, tell me in casting, like although let's say that you said that you were lucky in identifying or getting
Yeah.
thrown into this after Wake Up Sid, I'm sure you must have had really difficult times too.
Yeah, of course. What do you mean? Who doesn't have difficult time?
So,
So, in a life is not that easy.
So in casting, like, have you ever had this time where you've doubted it, be like, okay, this might work, might not work?
100%. There have
When
been so
exactly?
many times. I think when I got Kapoor and Sons, not because of anything else, I had such a strong drive in me to be able to prove myself that I put so much pressure on myself. But eventually the product was good. So I think, you know, sometimes putting pressure on yourself is a good thing only because it makes you push your own boundaries. You know, so I think I knew what a big opportunity I had at my hand. And it's a director that I always wanted to work with. I love his work. I'm so incredibly blessed that I think a lot of my casting boundaries have been pushed because of Shakun. He is someone who shows incredible faith in his team, and he really lets HODs do their job.
Okay.
That said, I was still very new. I had not got any big films behind my back, you know, so it was a very important project for me. So I think the tough times for me was to prove myself was difficult.
Yeah.
Because it was the first big opportunity. The film had big actors. There was like Alia, and there was Sid, and there was Fawad, and you know, we had to put the rest of the cast together, which was such crucial parts. Now today, you can't even say Kapoor and Sons without a Rajat and a Ratna and a Rishi Kapoor, right?
Absolutely not,
These
yeah.
are very much a part of but we didn't have all of these in place when I came onto the project. So I think that I faced a fair amount of stress at that time because I had put a certain standard of performance on myself. Like I wanted to perform
And
in
it's
a
not
way
like
where it stood out.
you didn't have a previous track record of any.
I mean, I had done Brothers for Dharma, but Brothers was such a big film with you know, Akshay Kumar and Sid that though there was a lot of scope for casting, somehow my casting stood out more in Kapoor and Sons because the characters were written only in such a way that there was more scope for my work to stand out, like that plumber moment. There was a moment there, you know, which got out laughs and people remembered it in the film, and you know that, or even the boobly moment, the
trailer. Oh, that was funny.
So, or even Sukant, who played Sid's, you know, best friend, he was hilarious in the film. He has such good timing. So I feel like those characters were written in a way that casting was able to stand out.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Kapoor and Sons gave me that beautiful edge in my casting career that made it feel like a casting coup. You know, it was like, oh, this film had characters that people remembered. And there was even times, this is such a great story, but that was a big compliment for me. I think I must have been like 20 something when I casted for Kapoor and Sons. Very young, very new into the game. It was a big deal because in casting, foraying from advertising to film is difficult.
Yeah.
To make that switch, because there are ginchunke 10 people only in the mainstream casting world that are doing work here. But to switch from this side to that side is difficult. So Kapoor and Sons was a very big opportunity for me to show people that I'm here to stay. You know, so and that's why the tough times came in a self-induced stress way. You know, like I put the pressure on myself to perform. But when that happens, you will have sleepless nights. You will have moments where you show one batch of auditions and not too many people are shortlisted. And then you start to feel like, oh, am I not doing enough? Am I not experienced enough for this job? How am I supposed to convince this director to work with me again? So, you know, all of those
self-doubt.
Self-doubt, yeah, of course. And like, am I too new? Did I take this on too quickly? Yeah. So all of those things. And then of course, you'll always have later on moments in which you may work with people, I think in this industry you work with different kinds of directors, some of them more collaborative than the others. So I think those experiences has
Also teach you a lot.
happened only. Yeah, I hope, thankfully I've really, we've been able to stick through most projects. I've not had too many projects where we've left halfway. Once we've taken on the project, we've completed and honored our commitment. But that said, ups and downs are there in every project. Yeah, stress moments are also there.
Like,
Meeting deadlines is also there.
but in this industry, like there are so many projects that happen, but don't happen. You know, they get shelved.
Yeah.
Like,
I've been on projects that have got
Yeah?
shelved. Yeah, we've started
how do you deal
casting.
with that? Like, imagine like working.
You feel sad because of the amount of time and effort you put in.
Exactly.
But also everything happens for a reason. So I feel like if that project didn't work, then that's a sort of sign for us to know कि शायद वो आगे जाके भी इतना ही successful ना होता. That's why the creators have taken a decision, as if it's easy for creators to take a decision to shelve a film. I've been on a film that shot for 11 days and then got cancelled.
Oh.
Yeah, which is difficult for the actors that are on board as well. So then what happens is that and if you've shot for 10-11 days, means we've completed our casting for the whole film.
Exactly.
And then the film got shelved. That happens. It's happened with us. And you take it with a pinch of salt. Yeah, what can you do? You feel a little bit bad, obviously.
Little bit. I would be devastated. Yeah,
No, the team feels like, we all feel like, we put in so much
like
work.
putting the entire squad together
Yeah.
and then not playing a game. It's like calling everybody for football or cricket and then being like, "Yaar, nahi, aaj game
Yeah,
nahi
it
hai."
happens. It happens.
Irritating.
It happens.
Man, oh man.
But what can you do? I guess that's the destiny of the film, right? Like ऐसे तो there are so many.
Yeah, I mean there
films.
is many ways to look at it, and that's the only optimistic way that you can look at it.
It's
Carry
like,
on.
Carry on. Yeah. You feel bad and stuff, but like there have also been projects where what I do is very early on I feel like where I'm not meeting eye to eye with someone or the people that are involved on the project, then I'll find a way to like in my own way bow out of it, because I'm a very vibe driven person. So I need to know that me and my team are having a certain kind of collaboration, a connect, we are getting along with the team, we are being made to feel like we are doing. You don't have to call us and remind us if aaj काम हो रहा है ना काम. We are like, you don't have to, the minute we come onto a project, you don't have to do that. You have to trust the process, you have to have faith that even if you are not receiving, let's say, an audition or a batch for a few extra days than you expected, वो काम हो रहा है, हम लोग ने इसीलिए नहीं भेजा है because we are not happy with it. So we'll send it to you when we are happy with it. That kind of collaboration very important. If I don't get that vibe, or I get like a like cattle turning out options vibe, I'm like, and for that reason I'm out.
Kick ass. But like, what is your stress relieving side? Like, what do you do to relieve or deal with all the stress?
Travel, of course.
Yeah. Like apart from that, like, who are the people that are so?
I think definitely my husband, Vish. I mean, I think it's just partner is a very common. I mean, it is a very normal answer, because I think when you're living with someone day in and day out, they are so looped into all your stresses in life. So I think Vish for sure, and then my sister. I think these are my two like absolute go-tos, and then I have a really close friend of mine, Gitika, who's from school. Again, someone I speak to like 1 or 2 times a day. So will always know whatever is going on in my life. Actually, 2 really good friends, Gitika, Devika, very close. They're mostly people that I know every single thing that's happening in my life, and then my partner and Dan. These are like my go-to people with any kind of stress moments.
So, the reason I asked you this was because I've identified at this point of time in life that yes, you will have these people where you can probably go vent out and speak to and get some kind of comfort from.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? What is your entire mantra?
Everything that a person should be doing in moments that I've not. I think one of my lower points were in the lockdown. I'm someone who's actually always been a very outdoorsy person. Like, a lot of people ask me how I manage my time with doing so many different things. Is because I am a person who's usually always on my feet. Like, I don't like to sit. empty. Like I feel like I should be doing something. I'm not doing enough if I'm on my. And my mom says that I was like this since the time that I was small. Like I was always like picnic का bag उठा के मैं बाहर picnic पे जा रही हूँ, drawing class पे जा रही हूँ, friends के साथ खेल रही हूँ, but not a indoor person. I was an outdoor person. So I found it very difficult with like mental health for me took a massive hit in the lockdown because I was confined in a house and I found that
A lot
very
of our friends,
tough.
I don't know if you're aware, but me, our group, our entire
Yeah.
friend circle, quite a few went through the same thing.
Yeah, I had
including me.
Yeah, I had a pretty down, like I could see the difference between me and Vish because Vish actually really enjoyed that time.
He's a homebody.
Because he's a homebody. He loves being like laid back at home. You know, he was playing PS. Of course, you find a way to get through. That's just how it is. But I found it very tough to get by that time because, you know, you remember how buildings had become like governments?
Yeah.
Where people were not allowing people to come in and go out. So I couldn't even like, I didn't get to see my family very much. I didn't get to see my friends. And as much as you can love a partner, for me in my life and my social, my social life requires social interactions with more than just my partner.
Obviously.
Like I don't have that all ticks are being fulfilled by a partner.
That's too much responsibility on one person.
Yeah,
man.
anyway that's unhealthy even in a relationship.
And whatever I know of Vish, like
yeah, it's
hey, Baba.
no, that's not even us. That's anyway not what you know me and Vish are about. We have a lot of friends and we I think I rely on my friends to kind of for those different ticks in my life.
Things,
Yeah, they are different people.
It's like that.
It's not one person.
What's that Shah Rukh Khan? Ye Zindagi? Dear Zindagi.
Dear Zindagi.
Where that he tells Alia that you know
that
what,
you can't fulfill. Yeah.
why do you want to put so much pressure on one relationship?
One
You have a coffee friend, you have a
Correct.
You have a podcast friend.
And I have all of these.
Yeah.
And I found it difficult to like not have those interactions. So I feel like the lockdown was a low time for me. Of course, work was also not that much. So that I feel to be agendaless was difficult for me.
Yeah.
Like waking up every day and other than class, which eventually came to me and I put all my energies into, I found it difficult to wake up without having anything to do. Like I think that was giving me a fair amount of anxiety and stress about where it's headed. And that fear of the unknown with my life, my career, will the momentum pick up the way that it was before the lockdown? Am I still going to be relevant? Will people still give me work? Is casting going to be what it is? How much time? Like I feel like all these questions didn't have an answer because we had to just see it through. I found that difficult, but I do everything that any person should do to take care of their mental health. Whenever required, and I feel like I'm having points where I need to go speak to someone, I have a therapist, I go and speak to a therapist, or I'll speak to a friend. But yeah, I feel like all of those things are extremely healthy, and I completely and 100% vouch for that. I think that in India, it's a very, very important conversation with mental health. There's still been a lot of taboo with people going and speaking to a therapist. I feel like even for what we do in the film industry, it can be hard for actors. They can face rejection so often that I think that it's something that everyone should do to make sure that they're just keeping their peace of mind. Whether it's a friend or it's getting help. Externally, or playing a sport or doing anything. I feel like that's helped me a lot. Like I feel like we'll come to that because fitness we have to talk about, otherwise it will be incomplete this conversation. But I feel like I was one of those in the lockdown that found it so hard to, there was that workout kind and the non-workout kind. I was a non-workout kind. I just couldn't hack it because I feel like with my mental health not being in the right space,
it's connected, no,
it got so difficult to have that working out consistency.
Or eating healthier.
I wasn't eating healthy also.
So it was all that.
It was like all
banana bread time.
Banana bread time. So I found like fitness in like now has gotten much more consistent for me than it had been in the lockdown, to get out of that spiral of not having exercise as your lifestyle. It's very difficult to get it back. I've found it very challenging also. I feel like I've gotten it back now in the last like few months. But before that I found it very difficult to come out of that, and it was seeming like a massive effort to even get myself to a gym. Like I found it very, very difficult to come out of that spiral.
So when you're taking care of yourself and you're
Yeah.
taking care of your health and all, does your family ever feel neglected? Like, do they feel that, oh, Panchami, you're doing so many things?
Yeah, 100%. You'll hear my mom complain many times about how I was like, but that I think is a little bit of like a very parent thing also. I mean, it's something for us to realize that as we are growing older and in this very busy schedules that we have, you do have to consciously remove time to kind of also understand that your parents are growing older.
They're not going to be there for a long
yeah, they you know, and sometimes in this busy schedule of life between working out and you know, for me doing like brand stuff, then doing casting and doing events and you know, also wanting to travel and like all of that, I think that sometimes it can, you kind of tend to be like, get into the loop of constantly being busy. So I think that that's definitely something I've gotten fired also by my mom many times to be like, phone bhi nahi karte ho and all. In fact, she just told me sometimes she's like so busy now. What is it, like you said, like sometimes with our parents, they may also feel like busy, but to what extent? Like where are you trying to?
What are you trying to accomplish?
What are you trying to accomplish? Yeah, karna kya chahte ho? That's so true.
Ambani banna kya?
Yeah.
You put in little effort and suddenly you're trying to become Ambani.
Yeah, but I think that where the balance that I have to find is that I also have such a large group of friends that sometimes when the chill time comes, the obvious choice for people in our generation becomes to hang out with friends, you know, when you have that downtime. So to be able to split that with giving time to your family. See, with me and my sister it's different because we also often hang out together, we also often travel together, but with parents it's different. You know, my parents also don't live together, they're divorced. So that means there's dedicated time to be given to my dad separately and dedicated time to be given to my mom separately. So I think that that's something, with the craziness in the schedule, I still sometimes find it hard to manage the time.
So we move to our next section, like the last section. It's not like a rapid fire. So like I told you, like why we got this concept or this entire idea of the podcast, and B, what I was wanting to call it, but because my team never agreed on it.
Yeah.
So I had these cards printed and I was like, you know, because the entire format is free flowing and all, there could be certain questions that I might miss out on.
Yeah.
That I would want to know about you, or the listeners would want to know about you.
Okay.
And maybe the best way to get them out is for the universe. This is not tarot or anything.
Oh, okay, fine. Universe, I have to pick a card.
You pick a card, you read the question, you answer the question.
Okay, fine.
These are just questions, like it could be as stupid as what's your favorite movie?
Okay.
Or who do you go to in the moments, sad moments of life? Okay. Anything. But these are just questions that I pick.
Depends on what I pick, basically.
Yeah, so it's yours to pick.
Well, how many do you have to pick?
3. We'll do 3 or 4.
Okay. Oh wow, that's a hardcore one to start with. How do you approach questions of faith and belief? So I'm not a very religious person. The only thing that I believe in is being a good human being. So that's what I feel about faith.
That's so important.
That's it. I feel like just be kind to people and nature, and that's all that matters. What are some of the biggest financial challenges you faced and how have you overcome them? Yeah, this is an interesting one. So me and my sister were fairly young when we kind of started. When my parents got divorced, we were living with my mom, and I think it was difficult for her to raise two girls, give us a good education, make us financially independent, while also making ends meet herself. So we definitely have seen moments of downtimes, but I think my mom has really ingrained in us to be financially independent, and she was also she was a stickler when it came to this. She was militant about it, which is that from very early on, me and my sister had to contribute. Like I remember when I was much younger and I started working, maybe when I was like 19 years old, she made it a point that my sister was of course doing super well for herself already. She made it a point that we had to pitch in something, it didn't matter how much. But I had to pay either the electricity bill or something of the sort. So it was always about sharing the load and sharing the responsibility. So I learned that very, very early in my life, because my mom made sure for me to know that nothing in life comes for free.
Yeah, that's so important.
Yeah, very important.
I'm going to do that with my boy for
Yeah,
sure.
100%. You
Like,
must.
I have to wait for him to grow a little, but
Yeah.
child labor.
He's only right now, Pratik. How do you approach change in your life? I'm not too bad with change. Like I can kind of find my way around it. And honestly, change is the only constant, so I'm not scared of change. Change is fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes in like in relationships, certain changes can be difficult. Like I feel like right now I'm doing for the first time in my life, after being married for 6 years, me and my husband are doing a fair bit of long distance, and I'm finding that difficult.
I'm sure it must
Yeah.
be. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming
This was
over.
such a fun chat.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one
Great.
of my favorite. It's one of my favorite podcasts already.
So that's what we wanted. We just wanted you to share your journey, whatever struggles you
Yeah.
faced, and how you overcome it in whatever capacity, whenever you were, wherever
Yeah.
you were, and hopefully our viewers, our listeners will take something from it, get
Yeah,
inspired.
I hope so.
Yeah, they will. I know. I have learned so much from you. Like something as it might sound very little and very obvious, but the entire concept of WhatsApp group on FitCru was because of me interning with you. The way
What?
because
Really?
yeah. So we have an app,
Huh.
right, Panchami? We have an app where we can communicate with our clients.
Okay.
But when I was working with you, under you, I was seeing that okay, for every project it was structured. There are people who are responsible for that project. There's a
Yeah.
WhatsApp group created. Although I would be on 3 different groups
Yeah.
and a main group,
Yeah.
having that entire communication channel, and then the way you were responding on a daily basis,
Yeah.
checking on different teams, the way you assigned and that could be my limitation or my short-sightedness, or this is what I assume, but I thought you would be casual about your work. And that's what I thought, that ऐसे काम होता
No,
है.
I'm fully hands-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like responding on each and every group.
And then when I saw that, I was like, you know what, this is how the founder or the boss
Yeah.
has to lead the ship.
Yeah.
So even
we work fully solidly as a team. So it's not like I'll be on a group and I'm a spectator and things are just happening.
Yeah.
It's like I'm there, and I'm the kind of person who, if you're auditioning with us in the office between Monday and Friday, it's 90% chance that you will meet me and say hello to me, because I'm always in the office. Even if it means that I'll come for a few hours, I think the very few days between Monday and Friday, unless I'm traveling or I'm not in town, that I prefer to work out of the office any day. I'm not at all the WFH kind of thing. WFH is not for my personality.
great.
Thank you so much for having me.
And at the end of this, so you know Chinu, Scuba
Yeah, of course.
So when he came, even he started a podcast with Ria.
Yeah.
So it's like at the end of the podcast, Pratik, you really need to tell your viewers to like it or share it,
Okay.
or comment on it.
Of course.
And I'm very like you.
I'm like this. Yeah.
पता चल रहा है तू acting कर रहा है. It looks like you're acting. So this is how I've slid it very subtly, so that people can like, share, and comment on whatever they have to. And we'll conclude with this. Thank you so much,
Thank
Panchami, for taking the
you.
time
Thank
here.
you.